media unless you know who.
Yeah, no.
And if you don't know, then let's do the collective.
Right. I mean, personally, my art is kind of like erotic art, I guess.
Okay.
So, I guess I can narrow it down to adults.
Okay, so erotic art. So we'll put so adults mostly. Well, that's pretty much everyone. Okay, so hold on to that because that's very specific audience. So Lacey, who would your? I know we talked about this last time, but now thinking social media, who do you think? Who's your target audience?
I'm trying to get my work out to people I don't know, since we know that so far my social media stuff has gotten the interest of people in my network, my community. So acquaintances, coworkers, friends, family, people outside of that bubble.
Okay.
So maybe just people in the Detroit area or outside of.
So regionally, maybe regional?
Yeah.
Okay. And
That's Metro Detroit.
Metro Detroit, but
Anybody who is interested, I'm going to just do me personally, anybody who's interested in Detroit, in the rebirth of Detroit,
okay.
and it's basically the whole Metro Detroit area. And then for Artisan Market, it is Metro Detroit. Any customers who are interested in Detroit, any kind of made in Michigan or handmade items.
Okay. I want to walk backwards a bit and talk a little bit about social media itself. To me, social media is similar to walking into a party. So you go into a party and there's a whole bunch of people in the room, and everyone's talking at once, right? And there's just like murmur. And you want to get noticed. You want to be able to start a conversation with someone. Well, how do you do that? Social media is very, very similar. The internet is just filled with so many spaces to speak and to share, and how do you get noticed? When you go into a party and there's all those people there, you're not going to walk up just like you wouldn't do this to a store. You're not going to walk up, let's say you're a jeweler, and look at my piece, do you like it? What do you think? It is a conversation. It is starting a relationship, okay? It is not slamming your images over someone's head. It is really finding out about that person, determining whether that person is going to be a good fit for you. I mean, obviously, if you're in the party, it's you personally, but when you're online, it's you as a business. And just showing up to the party is the first step, and that's really what the platforms are. So each platform is a different type of a party. So what party is going to suit your business? What social media platform is going to suit your business? What's best for you to be on? And then how do you present yourself at this party? What do you wear? What do you say? Who are you speaking to? And are these people going to be receptive, and what do they want to hear? So that's kind of how I share what social media is when I'm speaking to my clients and when I'm speaking to my students in my art business course. Do you have anything that you want to add to that? You want to talk a little bit about what social media is so they can kind of understand that space?
Sure. Social media is a digital platform that artists can use to showcase their pieces. It depends on what your goals are when you go into social media. Are you curating content? Are you creating content? Are you just looking to connect with other artists? There are a lot of different platforms that you can use. Some of the more popular ones, of course, are Facebook, Instagram, which is very visually driven. Facebook, you need a lot more words, and Twitter, which is almost all words. LinkedIn is more of a professional service. And then you have different sites where you can actually showcase your work, like Dribbble. I personally don't really, I have a Dribbble, but I don't really use a Dribbble. It's very link driven. You need other people to upvote your work constantly in order to be seen or found on Dribbble. So unless you already have a big network of people that you've been building for years, Dribbble can be a little difficult, a difficult market to break into in terms of visibility.
Hi, so for me, as a graphic designer, social media is a quick way for me to share my sketches, finished products, and I share those across a wide platform. I personally use Instagram and I use Dribbble, and then I'll share them on my Facebook page or different things like that. But for those, it's a nice way to connect with other artists or people who are interested in all of that stuff. And it's a good way to get inspiration too. And you get to see what someone else is doing. And if you ask questions about how they did that, people are more than willing to share all of their information about how they came to this conclusion or what tools they use. So it's a really nice way to learn more from other people. And it's a very good community. So it's a nice way on social media to have that art community because you can share all your information and get information from people all over the world.
Another platform that I recommend would be DeviantArt. But I think of that as sort of the MySpace of art sites. It's been around for a long time. It's a great site.
What was it?
DeviantArt.
T-E-V-I-A-N-T.
Yes, like social deviant, honest. But it's very amateur driven. You absolutely can build a huge audience without having to have any sort of professional experience whatsoever. You don't necessarily have to put the same energy into pushing your content out there because with DeviantArt, it's all posted chronologically and your entire gallery is always available as long as you make it available. And there's
Who's there? Are buyers there, or is it other artists?
honestly, it's usually fans from my
Okay.
experience. You can build a fan base, like a lot of comic book artists. They're already based in Marvel or DC or Image or any of those other houses, but they will post additional content that's not being published every month by those companies on DeviantArt for their fans to consume. I'm a huge fan of Dustin Nguyen. Like he's a Batman artist. He's worked on numerous Batman books, and he keeps a very robust DeviantArt page. And his gallery is always available, and he just keeps refreshing it all the time. So if you're with comic books, it's only coming out once a month. I mean, depending on how many books you're getting, you might get 6 books, so you're going to get 6 different comics every month. But it's still a limited amount of story. But if you go on DeviantArt, you can access as much content as that creator wants to put out there. People have used it to build storylines concerning your pictures. It's its own little community. It's like I said, to me it's the MySpace of the art scene because it's just much more visually driven. It's not as, I mean, Facebook is a much different platform than it was when it debuted in 2005 or so on and so forth. But it's much less structured in a cleaner way. I mean, it's a clean site, don't get me wrong, and they have a lot of guards in place for content that may be seen as quote unquote adult.
Right.
So there's enough room for everyone on that platform. But it's not your Instagram. It's not your and actually a lot of people who aren't comfortable on traditional social media or social media as we come to know it would more than likely be comfortable on DeviantArt because it's not base driven.
Yeah.
It doesn't require you to really share a lot of information about yourself personally. It's purely about what you're creating.
Very cool. Thank you. And Behance, do you think Behance would be the same?
Yeah, I think so. Behance is, when people who are looking for artwork in any field and they search something, Behance, Instagram, all of those do come up. So Behance is, I think they just celebrated their 10-year anniversary the other day, and there's still so much work that's being found, and a lot of artists do get work from Behance and from Instagram, just because when your platforms are open and someone's searching a specific thing, those do come up in searches.
Right. And Behance is owned by Adobe, so it's very professional, but it is specifically a portfolio site. It is not like Instagram. There's no communication. You can't speak to other artists. It is strictly just
you can comment on things, but you can't.
Yes.
There's not like, it's not as easy as the other ones to have that back and forth and create that community on Behance as is on any of the other ones.
Right. In fact, I used LinkedIn and Behance when I was creating Embrace Creatives because I wanted that really beautiful portfolio space completely open, erotic images, everything, figure nudes. I mean, this is a professional artist site. But I like the LinkedIn because it's professional and you can connect, but Behance is beautiful. So let's just start with the erotic art. So let's just talk, because this isn't a lecture or a workshop. We're really here to brainstorm.
Valentine's Day. So just in time for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So let's brainstorm. Erotic art. Where do you think that erotic art can be placed on social media, where it's going to be accepted and talked about?
DeviantArt. Hands down, no contest. You can put guards in place to make sure not everybody can access your content. You can post as much as you want, and you can include links to other places where they can buy your artwork. You don't have, I mean, I don't normally see people selling artwork through DeviantArt, but that's always, there's nothing in place saying you can't.
But so let's say, is it your work on your website?
Yeah.
So she can,
You can link to your website and just post content that you feel comfortable adding to DeviantArt. It's when you guys mentioned Behance versus Instagram, and one being more comment driven and visually, whereas the other is pure platform or pure portfolio, DeviantArt would be the middle ground. It'd be like a giant gallery, completely free for your artwork.
With that one, my two suggestions would be Tumblr, because Tumblr is a pretty open place. And also on Behance, when you go to load something up, it will ask you if it's for mature audiences. So it does have that. So it just means that someone who doesn't want to see something like that, it would be eliminated from their search. And Twitter. Twitter's pretty open, and
oh, is it?
yeah,
Okay.
Twitter's pretty
Surprisingly
open. Surprisingly open. So yeah, with that specifically, I would say Tumblr, Behance, and Twitter would be the best way. Just make sure anytime that you are posting something on Behance that you do click the button that just says for mature audiences, and that's it. Because other than that, they'll let you post that. Just so it doesn't get like banned or your account doesn't get banned. So as long as you make sure that if the platform you're using asks for that specific that question, that you are checking that.
And Tumblr is really popular amongst, I would say, Gen Xers. Well, pardon me, the generation beneath millennials. I think it's Gen Yers or something like that. But the next generation likes Tumblr because it employs privacy standards. It's a little harder to find people on Tumblr. You can't just necessarily do an automatic search under someone's username. You have to already be following that person, or you can receive an invite, and then you can search for their content as opposed to them as a person. So someone can find my posts easier than they can find me.
I'm not going to go down to the others. What I want to do right now, we'll come back to you guys, but what I want to do right now is talk about the platforms for artists, because we are all creatives that are either on live streaming or here in person, and we are visual. We have images that we need to put online in social media, and they have to be accepting of us, and there has to be places where our buyers are. So Lacey, where are you active online in terms of your art? What social media sites?
Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, those are pretty much the top two. Debbie, are you anywhere
Instagram
else?
and Facebook.
That's it, huh?
I
Okay.
have on LinkedIn, but I haven't done much with it.
Yeah, that's not a place for us. So everyone's coming to Embrace Creatives because that's going to be the place. What about like Pinterest? So that's a very good social media site. Tell me a little bit about Pinterest.
I do have a Pinterest set for my business, but I usually use it for personal. But
Okay.
there's tons of artwork on Pinterest, absolutely. They've changed their platform a lot since, well, when I say a lot, I don't mean the visual of the platform. They've just changed the structural aspects of it. You can't really like post anymore, unfortunately. They require you to go ahead and pin it now.
Okay.
But that's, I mean, in terms of a huge change, that's not the biggest. I mean, it was more convenient when you could just like something instead of having to go ahead and save it if you wanted to keep track of something. But as far as social media platform changes go, that's like very minimal compared to the massive changes that some of the other platforms have gone on. But Pinterest is a great option for galleries, showing your artwork. There are a lot of brands that are active on Pinterest. A lot of fashion and clothing groups are on Pinterest already. It's not, I mean, there's a lot of artwork on it too. I would say it's more photography and crafts and things that you make with your hands than, say, drawings or painting.
Oh, okay.
I see a lot of
Yeah.
people too.
I would say too, a lot of paintings for sale and
Yeah.
like sculptures. The good thing about Pinterest is that any image that you personally put up there, you can put an individual link to where that is. So if you're selling a sculpture, you pin that, and as long as you put it under the appropriate board that someone who's looking for sculptures is going to find, it will take them directly to that page where it's available for sale. And for businesses, Pinterest has a lot of options for that too, where you can do simple promoted posts, or the good thing about that is if you're looking for something that's a home goods and you want a painting, other paintings that will come up when someone searches that. So as long as everything that you're making is under the correct category, your stuff will be suggested to someone else, even if they don't specifically follow you on Pinterest. It will come up in their suggested illustrations or drawings or flowers, whatever it is that they're searching up. Other pins come up automatically under that now.
I'm glad you did that, because I admit I use Pinterest for photography. I don't use it for paintings at all, but I don't paint. So.
Yeah, they actually have a new feature that's in beta right now, where you can take a picture of an object, say like you see a lamp that you like, and it'll show you pins of similar lights or that exact one, so you can go and actually buy it on Pinterest.
I have heard of that. I didn't know that they rolled that out yet, and
They haven't. It's in beta.
That's amazing. Google actually kind of piggybacked on that idea and took it a little bit further, where if you're running a search for a particular object or thing, you can go into photos and find the link to the specific object in the photo. Like if you see someone posted a beach picture, and this could be an amateur photo, and you like the towel that they're using, you can zero in on that towel and find that towel using the photo links.
Okay, yeah.
So I think everyone's kind of in competition with one another online, right? I mean, of course they are, but any way that they can get our attention back from Facebook, especially with the changes to the news feed, they're going for it.
Exactly. Is there a fourth? So Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, these are all visual spaces.
Yeah, I would say it would probably be Behance or Dribbble, one or the other. To me, Dribble's more illustrative. Yeah, I mean, kind of. Dribble's not really for like sculptures and all that stuff like that, but Behance is. So I would say that Behance would probably be the fourth one on that list.
And Dribble's 3Bs?
Yeah.
And then just an L?
Yeah.
Ellie.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Behance. So
I didn't know that about Behance. I want to use it for design stuff.
So Behance, for everyone who's not, is for illustration, paintings, photography. It's pretty much not too much crafts though, right?
Not crafts.
Now Dribbble is for illustrators primarily, so you're going to have mainly illustration on there. But and that's, I don't know how new that is, but I've just heard about it.
The site or the illustrations?
No, the Dribbble site. I mean, these two, Facebook and Instagram, and of course Facebook just bought Instagram, so they work together very well. They're the strongest right now. And then of course Pinterest, I think, is the third. Let's just talk a quick second, because this is not a legal think tank. We'll do legal another time. But you know, artists putting their work up on these sites, is there protection? Or how about, forget about protection, because that's a whole nother animal. Let's just talk right now about putting an image up. Give us some like basics, and we'll just touch on this very briefly, but basics. So they have a picture of their sculpture, the 3D piece, let's say, because that's probably a lot harder to put online than a painting or a photograph that's already digitized. So like let's say a vase.
So talk about taking the picture for it, or
so like what should this picture be
of? So I think for any photo that you use that you put on social media, that staging is the most important thing. And there's very simple things that you can do to stage any product that you have. The number one is natural light. So if it's winter, like right now, anything that I have, I go to a window or I'll go outside. Easy ways that you can stage it is a lot of things that I do, and it's something that's like a physical thing that I have printed out and it's not digital, is I'll use, I have like a big cutting board that's green, or I'll use something like a piece of wood or anything like that. So staging is really easy, and if you are doing a lot of 3D things like vases, sculptures, paintings, if you have enough to set up a little space in your house that you just go to this one window every time and you use this specific table and you can take it from above or below, that's the most important thing. And one little random trick that I just learned yesterday is a good way to help reflect your light is if you have like a piece of white paper that's the size of whatever it is, and if you put it in front of your image and then you stand behind it, so your paper's here, whatever you're taking a picture of is here, and the light source is on the other side, it will just reflect off of that white paper, and it makes the biggest difference. And it's something super simple that everyone has, like a piece of white paper. If you need bigger, you can use poster board, just something that's white, so that you have the light source here and your white piece of paper here, and what you're taking in the middle. And I tested it.
So instead of projecting directly onto the piece, like when I was doing jewelry and I did a lot of course, it was clear. It's really hard to take silver, and I can photograph, but I'm not a professional photographer. Well, I actually build out of foam core like a photo box, and I am natural. Like I always went outside, and it shouldn't be sunlight. It should be cloudy, because you don't want light bouncing off. And then I just worked in Photoshop and